Have you ever found yourself staring out your window, just completely defeated by a feral cat that's staring right back at your carefully placed trap? You know the feeling. You put the food in, you set the trigger perfectly, and they just stroll right past it like it's completely invisible. It is so frustrating. But listen, they aren't avoiding it just to spite you. They're surviving. So today, we're going to break down the exact psychological and behavioral strategies you need to actually outsmart that feline caution. Let's plan the operation. Okay, right off the bat, here is the absolute fundamental rule of any successful trap, neuter, return, or TNR mission. Control the food, control the cat. It's really that simple. If you do not have total authority over when and where a community cat eats, well, you're basically just relying on luck. And let me tell you, luck does not catch trap-shy, dominant, feral cats. Everything we're about to dive into completely hinges on this one golden rule. So, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking what I like to call the gentle heist, TNR trapping mastery. We've pulled directly from expert source materials on colony management to give you a really proven step-by-step guide. We are going to completely transform how you approach trapping, taking it from a super frustrating guessing game and turning it into a highly predictable, scientific operation. Here is our operational blueprint for today. We'll start with the overall blueprint, move into strict feeding schedules, look at the pre-baiting process, talk about the 24-hour fast, and wrap up with bait, catch, and cover. Part 1. The blueprint. Why exactly does simply dropping a trap on the sidewalk fail? Well, a cat with access to an all-you-can-eat neighborhood buffet has absolutely zero incentive to step onto a cold metal trigger plate. Moving to Part 2. Strict feeding schedules and synchronizing the biological clock. Before you even think about deploying a live trap, you have to initiate a surveillance phase. Here is exactly how you establish that rock-solid routine. Let's say 7 a.m. or dusk, whatever works best for your setup. You place the food, and you feed at that exact same time every single day. For the next 30 to 45 minutes, you just stand back and observe. Then, at 7:45 a.m., you do the absolute most important step, complete removal. You take away all the balls and any leftover food, no exceptions whatsoever. This tight window totally eliminates random scavenging. Within just a few days, you'll see the cat's internal clocks adapt, and they'll literally be waiting for you. You've successfully created a predictable operational window. All right, Part 3, the pre-baiting process. This is the trust-building phase, and it requires you to systematically desensitize your target over several days. The psychology behind this is so brilliant. First, you put the traps in the feeding area, but you securely zip tie or carabiner the rear doors completely open. Make sure the traps literally cannot spring. On day 1, just put their normal food right at the entrance. By day 3, move the food about halfway in. And by day 5, push that food all the way to the back, safely behind the trip plate. This sequence works wonders. The cats completely stop seeing this weird wire mesh box as a threat, and they start looking at it as just their new, safe, reliable neighborhood diner. Part 4. The 24-hour fast. Honestly, this right here is your absolute secret weapon for overriding that deep feline caution. 24. That is the magic number. Exactly 24 hours before your scheduled trapping slot, all food must be completely withheld from the colony. Now, you still provide plenty of fresh water, of course, but absolutely zero food. A community cat can easily skip a single day of eating without any medical issues at all. But that resulting hunger, that hunger is the exact engine that's going to drive them straight into the trap when it finally goes live. Look at the huge contrast in mindsets here. A satiated full cat is cautious, highly alert, and will just totally ignore your trap. But a fasted cat, their hunger actively overrides their natural caution, and they'll hunt down your scent trail. But guys, here is a massive warning directly from the experts. You literally have to communicate with every single neighbor on your block. Because if someone decides to slip the cats a secret midnight snack the night before trapping day, your entire operation goes up in smoke. Remember, a fed cat is an uncatchable cat. Finally, Part 5. Bait, catch, and cover. It is time for the actual execution and extraction. For the real deal, standard dry kibble just isn't going to cut it. You need a high-value, intensely aromatic bait. Oily sardines are top tier, because that oily base ensures the scent won't just dry up and blow away in the wind. Next is jack mackerel. This stuff is incredibly pungent, making it perfect for drawing out those older, super cautious dominant toms. And third, low-sodium canned white meat chicken. This is your go-to backup for colonies that just don't like fish,
or for those really hot summer days when fish spoils way too fast. Put this bait at the absolute back of the trap and squeeze just a tiny, tiny drop of juice at the entrance to build that irresistible scent trail.
So the traps are set, you're watching quietly from a distance. Snap. The trap springs shut. This brings us to a literally non-negotiable protocol, the immediate cover rule. The absolute second the trap closes, you don't cheer, you don't wait, you sprint over to that trap with a large, dark, opaque towel or blanket, and you cover it completely.
The science of why we do this is actually fascinating. To quote the source materials directly, doing this instantly breaks the cat's visual line of sight. Its central nervous system instantly shifts out of the panic response. When a wild cat is suddenly trapped, its evolutionary instinct is just blind, chaotic panic. It can severely injure itself thrashing against the wire. But throwing that dark towel over the trap instantly removes all visual triggers. It drops the cat right into a quiet, calm, defensive crouch. It lowers their heart rate, and most importantly, it keeps them safe.
Now, the heist isn't over just because you caught them. Post-trapping safety logistics are just as crucial. After their spay or neuter surgery, these cats cannot properly regulate their own internal body temperature because of the anesthesia. So you have to recover them in their covered traps inside a climate-controlled room, ideally between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. You need to hold them for a minimum of 24 hours to monitor for any bleeding or lethargy. And this is vital. You must return them to the exact geographic coordinate where they were trapped. Dropping them off in a random park somewhere is basically a death sentence. They desperately need their established territory to survive.
And there you have it. The gentle heist is complete. By taking control of the food, establishing a strict schedule, mastering the pre-bait, enforcing that 24-hour fast, and flawlessly executing the immediate cover rule, you totally take the guesswork out of trapping. So my question to you is, are you ready to execute the perfect TNR heist? Are you ready to take these psychological strategies out into the real world and humanely outsmart the cats you care so much about? Get out there, set those schedules, and let's get those cats fixed.